and they've bagged Benji. It is disgusting the way they've tried to push that out to further Lachlan's career. Clemmer.
Yeah. And then...
I put so much work into these crow's feet, not sleeping a lot during my 20s.
Yes, hello and welcome to another episode of Freddy and the Eighth, proudly brought to you by Sportsbet. Gentlemen, good to see you as always.
Evening.
How are you, Danica?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Good? We're all ready to go?
Yep.
We've got plenty to discuss this morning. We're going to be, or today actually, I should say, we're going to be talking all things State of Origin. We're going to be talking Lachlan Galvin because
What's
that is
happened, Lachlan
certainly...
Galvin?
We will get...
And just before, remember last year on Easter, we were sort of playing around a bit, and I got I got a text off Jason Stevens and Brad Thorne. Now, Steve, I couldn't care less what you say, but Brad Thorne, we're only joking, mate. We're only joking.
What'd you say?
We end up on like Media Watch, one of those shows. Yeah.
Paul Barry.
We're joking around.
Yeah,
What were you saying?
Oh, we're just saying, what happened on this day and what happened on this day?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I do remember.
Anyway,
we're
just being cheeky.
What
so.
happened? I do remember.
Sorry, Steve.
Yes. And we'll be also previewing all the games as well, so plenty to entertain you. So sit back and relax. And a reminder as well, we do, of course, have that email address. You can email all your questions, even if they're just statements, you want to tell us some things, f8@9.com.au. Send in what you want to see on the show too. And we've got some good emails here.
Yes.
Who wants to go first? We've picked out a couple of
I'll go first.
entertaining ones. You go first, Freddie.
Freddie, would you ever consider Botox like Andrew has done?
Mate, that's you said that. There's no but.
That's not me.
Hey, I put so much work into these crow's feet, not sleeping a lot during my 20s and 30s, some 40s. Here, what about this one? Hey, Freddie, living in the eastern suburbs, do you ever forget Glenmore Park Pad Spa Bath in your bedroom with all the chicks from Reactor 1? You legend.
Who's that?
That's from Marie.
I do remember the spa in my room.
What made you get a spa in your room? Is it? I think it is genius.
Hugh Hefner,
yeah.
what do you reckon? Walking around with a pipe.
Wow. Good times.
Oh, yes.
Can you tell us any?
I can imagine Monday.
Any moments?
Imagine it was floating on the surface on a Monday morning.
Yeah, how often would
Well, it
you
was actually
clean?
about 5 or 6 steps from the spa down to the actual bed. I remember falling down the stairs once.
Yeah, of course you do.
Yeah, some very entertaining parties. I'm assured would have
The
happened there.
Rubik's Cube in there just floating around.
Okay, all right, let's move on. I've got a bit of a serious one. I'm very passionate about football and would love to coach. It's a dream of mine. How could I get in the best way to get into top grades and the best to develop my trade?
Well, what you do, you get online and there's different certificates you need to get. I think it's a level 2. You'll be able to go and coach down, your kids down the road, and then that's where it starts. There's plenty of opportunities for coaching at the moment. There's plenty of schools out there. So there's a lot of ways you can go about it, and then it's just about, applying to different jobs when they come up at clubs, and away you go. There's a lot of junior rep teams as well. So if you're passionate about coaching, one of the things as a player is the thing you can sense more than anything is how passionate the coach is. And if you've got that passion, then who knows where it can take you.
There you go. Head online and check it out because we'd love to see some up-and-comers in the game as well. All right, let's have a look at what's been happening around the grounds. Handshakes have been a very hot topic here on Freddy and the Eighth. And we've found one from the archives. Have a look at this. It's not what you think. It's not Wayne Bennett.
Oh, have a
Yeah, that's when I threw the NSL.
Filthy.
Have a look at the little sook.
What a bad sport.
Were you more upset that day or the infamous one at Suncorp Stadium when New South Wales lost Origin?
No, that one. It still hurts.
Does it?
Yeah. It's only 25 years later. I still think about throwing that in a set.
Really?
Isn't it funny how friendly players are these days with each other? It's amazing.
Yeah. I remember when I first got to Newcastle in Harold Matthews, under 15s back then, and the coach, the late great Alan McMahon, who coached the Knights early, came in and spoke to us, and then he said, "You know what I hate? After a game, people high-fiving oppositions." He said, "The only reason you would shake hands and chat to a player is if it's your brother or your brother-in-law or it's a relation. Otherwise, shake his hand and get off the field. And it always stuck with me. Old school.
I love it how you say that actually still replays on your mind. That
The intercept.
the intercept.
No more.
Well, should we
No.
have a look at?
No.
I'm joking.
It was offside anyway.
I wouldn't do that to you.
Still hurt.
No, you spend the prior 10 seconds trying to organise. I just stood there watching you. Kids.
Oh,
Kids.
all right. Okay,
is too honest.
let's talk all things Lachlan Galvin, because this has certainly been the hottest topic this week in the game. Obviously, a lot has come out of it. There's a huge circus that has now sort of gone on for the last few days around his decision to leave the Tigers. What have you made of the whole scenario?
I don't mind him leaving. It's just part of the game that players move on. What I hate is the narrative that he's moving on and they've bagged Benji. It is disgusting the way they've tried to push that out, that to further Lachlan's career, he's been a pawn in all this, I have no doubt. And if for a 19-year-old young man, I'm going to say kid or boy, he doesn't need this pressure, because it wouldn't be Benji. Benji's played over 300 games, NRL, 340 odd I think. He's won a World Cup, he's won a Golden Boot, he's played over 30 odd tests for the Kiwis. If anyone is qualified to coach a young 5'8" or half, it's Benji. Alongside of him is a bloke called Jerome Luai, who's done it at all levels. Won comps, origins, played for Samoa. So I find it really disrespectful the way they've tried to attack Benji, saying it's because of Benji that Lachlan's leaving.
It's hard to criticise his coaching. I think at the moment they're the 4th or 5th best defence. If anything, you know, his coaching, well, the best example of that is your defence and how well you defend your line. And I've got to say they're doing a brilliant job. They haven't won every game, but the ones they haven't won, they've been pretty close. So to come out and criticise Benji's coaching is quite ridiculous. I don't quite understand why the Tigers, given I'm assuming they must have known something like this was on the cards, why they would want to, you know, go down the path of trying to re-sign him at the moment.
But they wanted to upgrade him. They wanted to say, well, here's some more money, but we're going to extend it, which I totally understand. At the moment, with what's going on with halfbacks or halves, playmakers, because they wanted to be fair and say, we're going to upgrade you for next year, but then what we're going to do is extend you for another 5 years.
But it is quite early in the piece to be having that conversation.
I'd be doing
you don't
it.
think so?
If I had,
Mate,
if I had Galvin, if
I'd
I
only
had
be doing it if I knew he was going to say yes.
If I had Isaiah Katoa.
Because this is the thing; it's now caused such a big drama. But I think probably the thing. Well, yeah, you look at the offer was huge, but the thing that's come out in the days after this whole decision was the reaction of the playing group, which I don't know about you. I would love to know your opinion on it, but I find some of it quite disturbing. The players taking to social media, and granted, I totally understand that Tigers players will be so disappointed with this decision, they'd be fed up with it. But for someone like Jerome Luai, who I have all the respect for in the world, to take to social media and put it out there in
they
public.
Communicate these days on
but then you
social
see
media.
also Sunia Taruva, he took a photo of Lachlan Galvin's locker with...
I think if you ask them, they'd probably like to take that back, because they left Penrith to go to the Tigers. So it is hypocritical. But social media, that's how they sort of communicate these days.
At the moment, you've got to say, it sort of says a lot about the club, I suppose, and what's going on with Lockie. I don't think you'd see this at Melbourne or some of the bigger clubs. You know, I think over talking at the moment, I think it's a really good opportunity at the moment just to say nothing and go and play footy. I find it quite disgusting what they're all doing on social media. How, yeah, it's terrible. Even Lockie coming out and explaining his situation about development, I don't like that either. Mate, just go away. Just, you know, if you've made your decision, that's fine. We respect your decision. You don't need to come out on social media and you know, and promote how you're thinking.
You don't mind that he's moved on?
No.
No, I got no problem with him moving on. It's just the narrative which has been pushed. I find it disrespect. And you know what? And now it's starting to go the other way. It's just, it's awful.
Yeah.
You know what? We need to stop this. This year we've had the Dylan Brown circus. We've had the DCE circus. Now we've got the Lachlan Galvin. How is this happening?
Well, I think I read Clint Yoon came out today and just spoke about how, you know, he doesn't agree with the fact that a transfer window would make anything better. So at the moment, the players are quite happy with the system that it is because it allows them.
I wonder what the fans think.
Well, the fans...
Imagine the Tigers fans. We know where the Tigers have been in the last, 10 years? Finally, they get some hope. They've won 3 from 6 and they look a genuine semi-final prospect. And now this has happened? Oh, it's just... I feel for the fans. I feel really sad for the Tigers fans.
Well, it'll be interesting what happens because if you watched on the weekend, 4 tries were scored down the right-hand side, and that's down Lockie's side. It was with Drew and Buller as well, and they were all just attacking the game because obviously Newcastle weren't. The only try that was scored on the left-hand side came from an error from Newcastle where they dropped the ball. Jerome picked it up and they threw it and they hit the winger.
Dewey scored.
So Dewey scored in the corner. So what you're going to do now is actually change the whole dynamics of what they're doing. This is going to cost the Tigers.
Well, then that's the other thing, because obviously Benji's made that decision. By all reports, the senior playing group came into Benji and requested that Lachlan Galvin not be in the team for this week. Do you think that is... Because there's obviously 2 trains of thought here, whether you should just have the best players on the team to get the result that you're after, or do you agree with the fact that, you know, there's stuff that happens behind the scenes and someone can get dropped?
I think it's smart to maybe protect him for a couple of weeks. But moving forward, do you develop... What's the young guy, Finu?
Latu
Finu, but he's injured at the moment.
He's injured at the moment. But then Dewey goes... Well, he's named a halfback. Jerome would be a halfback. Whether they want to develop, because they know whenever it is, it might be a month, he mightn't be there. I don't know if it continue. I don't think it can go on for 18 months. Well, I think something will happen in the next few weeks.
But the fact Lockie came out and said that I want to get developed in another place, then
it's untenable.
I think the relationship between the player and the coach just it doesn't fit. So the problem is though, Lockie's been paid most of his money. He'd only have, let's say, I don't know, $100,000 possibly to go to finalise his contract. The thing with the Tigers is, so it's not the money; it's you lose a player though.
It's a top 30 spot.
You lose a top 30 spot.
They'll exchange. They'll swap a player.
Well, but it's all got to fit in with his salary cap, and you know, there's a lot.
So could you see him maybe potentially doing a player swap to another club for say 12 months or so, maybe maybe even longer? Where do you see him? Parramatta.
Long term.
Long term.
Yep.
Freddie.
Well, they just lost their gun 5'8".
Yeah.
I'm assuming they've got a bit of money there, so be interesting what sort of money he demands at the moment.
Well, Dylan Brown, what he's on.
But he's not going to give him 1.3 million.
He'll get over $1 million for sure.
Well, not in a but
well, the Tigers
he will get over $1 million without a shadow of a doubt.
The Tigers offered him 900. I think.
So it was
they
close
offered him
to
$6 million over 5 years.
Close to $6 million. It would have been an upgrade in his contract next year, but then it was sort of. I think it was just over $1 million.
Right.
He'll get over $1 million for sure. If he goes to Parramatta, which I think he will, well, Dylan Brown was on around $1 million. He'll get that money.
Well, the other thing as well, obviously, he's 19 years of age, so we do hope that someone's also looking out for Lachlan Galvin's welfare at the moment, because I can imagine it probably would be a tough time for him, tough time for Tigers fans as well. We certainly feel for you, so hopefully you can get the win this weekend. But stick around, because coming up on Freddy and the 8th, we're going to be talking all things State of Origin. The countdown, it is on, just 6 weeks to go. So who will be in your sides? New South Wales and Queensland.
The growth of Women's Rugby League has been phenomenal.
We've wanted this so badly, but we have to go out and perform.
They couldn't see what we could see.
Here she goes!
It gives me this rush of adrenaline. It's a feeling that I live for.
Next time I'm down there, I'm kicking it.
What a kick! Lauren Brown!
It seriously lived up to the hype.
Over 1 million people watched that game.
Wrestling hose the last 3 hours. Now I've got to wrestle these girls.
I love the chaos of my life.
I just felt like I had nothing else in a way.
I have so much fun.
Women's Rugby League, it is pure footy.
They're entertainment.
This means a lot to so many people. Give me no excuse but to pick you.
Our mindset's not making tackles, it's winning.
It feels like a dream.
This is rugby league, this is what it can do.
It's something that's just in your skin. No one can ever take it away from us.
Yes, looking forward to watching Breakthrough out April 30 on your screens of 9 and 9 now. So the countdown to State of Origin, it is well and truly on. The women's game 15 days away. And for the men, well, the countdown is a little bit further, 6 weeks to go until Game 1 of State of Origin. So we thought we would get the gentlemen to run through their teams and their picks for New South Wales for Game 1. Gentlemen, talk us through it.
I think you mentioned injuries. If you go through last year's team, he's been with injury at the moment. Zach Lomax injured, Brian To'o, Mitchell Moses, Cam Murray. So that's going to be the real key. You talk about 6 weeks. 6 weeks is a long time in footy.
We both agree Latrell Mitchell, left centre. Nathan Cleary, if he's fit, without a doubt, will come back in. I think him and Jerome getting back together, going through marriage counselling, getting back together. It'll be. So I like Mitch Barnett. I like him in the front row. Get out there and toil away, make his tackles. A real effort front rower. Isaiah Yeo, obviously, starting at lock.
Then the bench, Hudson Young, Hamoli Olakawatu. So what we're missing is obviously the captain's not there, Jake. I think they were playing Jake last year for 20 minutes. And whether they need more out of front rowers in this series. Hudson Young, he's someone who could fit in very Cam Murray-like, I think. I think he could actually take that role on where he come on a bit of speed through the middle.
It reminds me of Anthony Watmar, probably in every way. A bit mad too. But I reckon when Hudson comes on the field, I reckon around the ruck with those tied forwards, getting in behind the markers, I reckon he'd be a handful. Olakawatu picks himself. And I think with Hudson too, he can also play in the centres. He's got the speed to play in the centres if there's an injury out wide.
The back rowers, Liam and Angus, well, their teams haven't won that many games. Their form hasn't been too bad. Liam Martin, he's had some big moments this year, but I think obviously Penrith only winning one game. It's been a pretty tricky season for them. Angus Crichton as well. I think there you got good support, as in back rowers. Hamali Olakawatu, he is an absolute handful.
No one can tackle him at the moment.
What about a fullback? Dylan.
Well, his groin is a worry. He had it strapped heavily last week against the Dolphins. If Dylan wasn't fit, I think I'd probably go with James Tedesco. I think he's in sensational form. Pappenhausen, he would be great there with his support play, but I just think Tedesco is a little bit more robust, bringing the ball back. In great form, Teddy.
What about your captain? There's a few club captains in the lineup there. Who would you get to skip at the side?
Well, I reckon it's time Nathan.
Yeah, I reckon Nathan
takes the
for
captain.
sure.
It's about
How old's
time.
Nathan? 26?
Going on 27. I think he's born November. So I think he's possibly 27 at the end of the year. So I think it's his time. Keep talking about, for him to most likely get to that next level is doing it through Origin. He's won a couple of series already. Doing it as captain, I think he'd be quite appropriate.
I think Connor Watson picks himself in 14. Always does a great job when he comes on the field. I think this year for the Roosters, whenever he goes into that middle, he's so dangerous with his speed and strength. But yeah, it's Nathan's time. I totally agree, Freddie. I reckon he should be captain for sure.
You mentioned Jake Trbojevic there before. Obviously, he was captain last year. I've heard the Michael Maguire speak just about how much Jake brought, but do you think that this year he does miss out on the field?
Well, when you've got Jake there, he loves playing, and obviously State of Origin is the pinnacle for him. I remember when he first toured with Cam Smith and JT and all those blokes, and I remember talking to his parents saying, he must have been a real thrill for him to meet them. And he goes, no, Aaron Woods and Clem, Like, he just loves, that's what he loves. And when he walks in, you know straight away that his total commitment and passion is to the team. It's just whether they played him 20 minutes last year, whether you can take that into, a series thinking that way. And I'm sure the coach had that in his mind when they set out.
I just think Mitch Barnett has got a bit more punch in attack. But he could play that Jake Trbojevic role defensively. But I just think in attack, Mitch Barnett's got a bit more punch.
And do you think maybe as well, different coaches, obviously, he loved what Jake brought. Maybe Laurie might put a little bit more emphasis on other things?
Well, Laurie's definitely come in with his own spin. The fullback's the other one. If Dylan is injured, and you talk about Pappenhausen, I don't see electric speed. There's not like that bloke who's going to score tries from halfway. Latrell gives you that coming out of trouble a little bit just because he's explosive and he comes up with something brilliant. And that's one thing that Queensland really have. They have a lot of, Hamiso and blokes like that who can just create tries out of nowhere. So that becomes your Pappenhausen, someone who can do that.
And the injury cloud above a couple of players there.
We have
obviously,
about 6 of them.
Yeah, Zach Lomax, he is racing the clock to be back fit 1 week before Game 1 of State of Origin. We know Brian To'o, he's had some hamstring injuries as well.
When's Brian back, do we know? I think Lomax only needs to play 1 game and I'd put him straight back in. Well, he was unbelievable last year.
Campbell Graham's back this week. When you look at right wingers, and you were talking about Jack Bostock, who's having a fine year. You got Jason Saab's a right winger. Campbell Graham's a right winger. Stephen Crichton, the man with the ball there, he plays right centre, but's played on the wing. So there's a few there that could sort of fit into that role.
What about Bostock? You like him?
He's a good player.
Yeah, I like him too.
I do think Campbell Graham at the moment, it'll be interesting how he goes coming back this week. I think he's just played bigger games from a point of view. He's played for Australia before. We picked him in Origin a couple of years ago and he actually had a sore sternum and never played another game that year, but he's definitely got a lot of potential, Bostock. Great under the high ball.
I like Bostock with his strength, bring the ball out of trouble, and he's a natural winger.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be picking anyone out of position as a winger.
Yeah.
Talk about
Crichton.
No. Defensively, it's such a specialised position. Bostock also is a great athlete. He's well over, 6'2", 6'3".
You know what he does? He does that well. Mate, he reads defence awesome.
Brings the ball out
Came
of
in
trouble.
a couple of times on the weekend against Penrith and stopped the ball.
I want to get your thoughts on this Queensland side. Do you think that we're going to be seeing many changes? Do you think Reece Walsh, he stays in the number 1 jersey, or
no,
is it
I think
Collins?
Kalen plays fullback. Well, depending, he's dipped a little bit, Kalen. He has to, next 6 weeks, fire up a bit. I think Gagai won't be there. I think Val Holmes will go into the centres.
Murray Tuolangi's having a good year.
Murray Tuolangi on the wing.
Put him to the wing. They're both right wingers. Well, I'd have, if you got Murray Tuolangi, then Xavier Coates.
Munster back.
Munster goes in 5'8". And the front row, Mo Fatawaker and Felice Kafusi.
Big Tino.
Tino will be there.
Tino comes back.
Lindsay Collins, Pat Carrigan.
Tom Gilbert comes back.
Well, they've been playing Tom Gilbert on an edge at the Dolphins.
Yeah.
So Ruben Cotter, for me, is a great bench player.
That would be my bench, I think. I was looking at it last night.
You wouldn't start in NA? Geez,
Well,
I'd be starting him.
Well, you got Ruben Cotter. I don't know about Felice Kafusi, whether he goes another year.
Ruben Cotter, he's one of those lightweight forwards. I think he's got to be in the middle.
Tom Gilbert, Fafita. Fafita's name
Dave
isn't there.
Fafita, yeah,
he's a handful.
Would you start Fafita, but he's more of a wind him up, get him off the bench. Ben Hunt's a certainty, 14. Yeah, I'd start Kalen. And I don't think you can carry Reece Walsh on the bench because Kalen certainly came on as a middle forward and nearly got man of the match in his debut. But really, who cares?
Exactly.
They're laughing at me and him up in Queensland.
Yeah, there you go. Plenty for Billy and Laurie to dwell over the coming weeks in the countdown.
6 weeks is a long time,
Oh,
Danica.
yes, it is. Plenty
What
can
happens
happen
in
in the world of rugby league. Well, stick with us. Plenty more coming your way right here on Freddy and the 8th. Coming up next, we'll get Freddy to run his eye over the tries of the week. Who will be the top of his leaderboard?
Just about reach out and touch the goal line. Pray a dummy half. Whittam chipping towards the corner. Here's Morris! Brett Morris! How good can it get? That's brilliant.
Oh, that was 2014. That feels like not that long ago.
Well, that's an understatement. Brilliant.
Yeah.
That was incredible.
Look at it.
Gareth Whittam, what do you class a player?
I wonder if he knows how high he's up and then when you're right at the top, you're going, this is going to hurt.
Karate kick the cameraman.
He does it with such, it's like it doesn't look painful. He just comes...
He's just elegant.
Yes. Yeah, how good. What a great try. So that is time to discuss the try of the week as I throw my pen around. All right, what caught your eye this week?
It was hard to... Well, first we had to deny him a try. William Kennedy. Have a look at this. This got caught back. I've got to say, I don't know if it's the camera work, but he looks quite slow there.
Yeah.
No, they're all... The ball's in play for ages. Look at him. They're on the treadmill.
You can tell in the head down and the grimace on his face.
I think it was hot over there too, wasn't it, in Perth?
What a brilliant try. And then this ended up being the one. So I had to give him... He had to get on the show, put it that way. There's a little bit of brilliance. Very David Peachy-like. Yeah, just found a little bit of footwork, a bit of a goosey, another dummy.
So good.
So, you're going to take over Jason Saab. Saabi, you're gone.
Oh, Sabi's out.
He's back this week, so
Okay.
he loves scoring tries.
All right. What about
Melbourne.
Harry Grant? Yeah.
We're going to Melbourne. Geez, they're good.
Fast.
And they score tries from everywhere. Very much like the team they're playing this week, the Dolphins.
Here's my idea.
Look at
Inside
this,
their
just
40,
speed. Boom.
should be a 5-pointer.
Attack the halfway like it's a try line. Harry Grant. Look at the speed.
pass.
What a good player. I don't know if it reaches the board, but Harry, for being a hooker and chasing the ball that hard, Xavier Coates, what an athlete he is. Brilliant pass.
So does he get
Harry
on the
Grant.
board?
No, he doesn't get on the board.
Just an honourable mention.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
I just wanted a hooker chase the ball 50 metres. So.
Okay.
And the last one is the hammer. Hammer's going to make the board.
There's a joke in there somewhere. But...
Stop. Hammer time. Have a look. He's from an error. 80 metres. And you just could tell. He knew there was going to be space because there was chaos and he just had to find the space.
It's like a video game.
I love how he makes it look so easy.
I hate that it looks so easy.
In real life, honestly, it's actually incredible watching the speed that he gets up to.
The one in the first half when the right centre, Freddy, Avarillo went through, and they're all coming and they gave it to him. He's just playing with them.
That was hilarious, wasn't it?
He's got Hammer's got quite a unique. His body just stays still in the middle. So his core must be unbelievably strong.
Happy, you're gone, my friend.
Happy's out.
Yep.
Well, there you go.
Happy.
Some good
Been
tries.
told we've got to say Arpy now.
Some good tries there.
When did he change his name?
I don't know.
Anyway, but the Hammer. Got to love watching Hammer score tries. And you know what the best part about it was? He sent the crowd home happy. They're sitting there watching, waiting. I think about every game, because every game we were told that.
Send them home happy.
Yeah, if you get a chance to, keep going and try to score a try late. Sends them home happy. He sent them home happy.
Are you talking about the game or that spa?
I used to go back to the spa.
Did you send anyone home sad?
Here we go. Freddie in the 8th medal. Come on, Danica, you better.
Don't bring yourself there.
You got Hudson Young 3.
Here's a gun.
Isn't he killing it?
He was so good.
Terrell May for me in the middle. He's second on the Dally M's, I think, Terrell.
Really?
His ball playing in the middle, big minutes.
Big minutes.
Jeez, we didn't mention him in the Origin. He's got to be close to a bench spot. And then William Kennedy for mine. But here's Terrell May. His ball playing, his offloading, his pass selection. Like, he's in the middle of the field, but he's playing that lock roll, that link roll. Huge minutes, offloading. Such an advantage to have
Such a good get for the Tigers as well.
Oh, isn't it?
Him up.
Look, offload.
You know what he does? He plays smart. He doesn't tear into the defence line, but he just sort of gets there at a speed where he sort of absorbs everyone, gets the opportunity to offload, then every now and then he hits it a little bit harder. Kalen.
What about that? He's opposite Kalen, doesn't panic.
Hudson Young. Well, he's just doing things at the moment that some of the great athletes of our game are doing.
And
setting up
good
tries.
weeks back to back as well.
I think his whole year's been pretty good. Like I remember in Vegas, he was like a standout in Vegas.
Yeah.
Scored a try.
Cessnock Gowenna Jr.
Really?
He grew up in the next sort of town, about 15 minutes away, Brankston.
Did he play sort of juniors in the
Cessnock played a few, yeah. I think he played juniors for the Knights.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And William Kennedy at one point. As you said, a bit of peachy about this. Dummy, ball in 2 hands. Got them guessing. Got them guessing.
I love watching good athletes, how they hold the ball. You know, 2 hands, 1 hand, 2 hands, 1 hand, just playing with the defence. Bringing people in when they need them. Got the fend out.
They got my Knights this week. Sunday Arvo, live and free.
Yep, looking forward to that
Worried
one.
about my Knights this week.
Surely there's a better reaction to last week.
And then Val Holmes. What do you like about his game?
He made it look good. It was incredible, actually. Some of his movements, for a bloke his age, well, not even his age, but just a bloke his size, to be able to move that well. This try here, watch this move. He should have sound effects follow him when he plays.
Sonic
like that.
boom.
And just look at this. Goal kick.
He nailed his kicks too.
I know, I thought that was off initially when I saw it going, and then never in doubt. And last one, Reece Robson.
Well, there was a bit of criticism. They were talking about finding someone else to play hooker. And I'm thinking...
Who?
I don't know. I read a thing on saying that he had to...
What, for the Cows?
He had to improve.
Or for Origin?
For Origin. He's one of my favourite players, Reece Robson. He's a gun. And, yeah, set up tries. He does 50 tackles a game, never misses. He's brilliant.
Hudson's leading.
Hudson's leading. We've got a new leader this week.
That'd be
so
good.
He's taken over and in the clear as well on 8 points.
He'd be good on the boat cruise.
There you go.
Where's Stu
I love
Laundy?
it how we've gone from just a restaurant, now it's a boat cruise. We're just we're up in the air.
Oh, we're going to go to the what's the pub there at the
Watson's
the
Bay.
Woolly. Oh,
the Woolly.
The Laundy's on the Manly Pacific now, at Manly. Let's go there. Get a penthouse there and stay for a few days.
Yeah. Get a boat at the
boat.
Yeah.
From the other side,
from
near the
wharf
wharf
side.
bar?
Yeah.
Did we get it cleared from production?
We'll sort it.
We'll sort it. It's all right. We'll chat to the boss.
He told me to give him a call.
Who?
Stu.
Oh, there you go.
He's in Palm Springs at the moment.
Is he?
For Coachella.
Slumming it.
Is he in Coachella?
No, he's not going there.
Coachella's
No, he's in
on
Palm
it.
Springs doing something.
Yeah, right.
Living the life.
I reckon it's probably at Coachella. All right, well, we'll keep on that one. Hudson Young, there you go. He's invited to the yacht party at the moment.
Have you been to Coachella?
I have.
How was it?
Very fun.
Was it?
Yeah, very fun. Many years ago.
Were your eyes hanging out of your head?
It was a long 3 days. But no, they do a very good job over there. I'd love to go back. Maybe for my 40th. We'd take Freddy in the 8th over there.
We can do that.
There you go.
We'll pack Mount Druitt, Freddy.
I've seen him come out before in Vegas.
And the spa.
The spa. All right, well, plenty more coming up here on Fred in the 8th. Up next, we're going to be looking at a huge clash. We love this one, a Good Friday special between the Doggies and the Bunnies.
Here it comes to Hodkinson. It looks like he has won another one for them. Here's Tyrrell running straight at Pritchard.
One more of those and they're in range.
Here comes the kick. Reynolds is knocked over after his kick.
James Graham is calling to the sideline. Adam Reynolds in plenty of distress.
This could be a massive moment. He's trying to stop the field goal, as he's entitled to do.
Is this a penalty?
Well, it can't be a penalty,
I think it's accidental.
It's dangerous contact. Contact's on report. The penalty's in front. Oh.
No, you can see this coming.
There's a penalty here, James. James, that's the call.
That's a bad penalty, wasn't it?
The players have shaken hands. The coaches are heading for the sheds. South winning 18-17.
What a dramatic day that one was. That was an incredible finish to that match, and that was talking points for so long.
Throwing bottles.
Yeah.
Kooks.
Over the refs. That was 2014 as well.
People get very emotional. You've seen those games. Like, we're on the sideline a lot. You forget sometimes how
emotional they get.
Absolutely. Like, obviously they've gone way overboard, and we'll get in trouble because you just can't be throwing stuff at anyone.
Clem. What about Clem?
I know. I actually forgot how fired up Clem was in that when he was talking to the ref there.
Well, it's funny. Since then he came out with the finger. Remember, he stopped pointing and started using the.
So that was 10 years ago.
Yeah, 2014.
Wow.
Well, over 10 years ago.
Adam Reynolds was lucky he didn't get a compound fracture of his leg on that one. That was...
And you're all saying that it didn't deserve a penalty.
It was an accident.
An accident? Nearly broke his leg.
Yeah.
He didn't mean to.
Oh, seriously.
Nowadays.
Oh, you dinosaur. That's nearly... Mate, it's just illegal.
This shot, you can just see the...
Clemmer.
Yeah. And then...
That was evil Clemmer.
That was, yeah. But they've always got that fiery.
Yeah, I know they're passionate, but just don't do this.
This is way
that
over
was
the top.
that was the bad.
Way over the top.
But we're looking at 70,000 or upwards of 70,000.
Yeah, that's what they're thinking. So.
I can't wait.
And this is for Dogs fans. This is such a good moment for them. They're in such a great era. They haven't lost a single game this year. They're at the top of the ladder.
Coming off the bye.
Yeah.
They haven't played many of the good sides.
That's true.
At the moment, they've played Cronulla from last year's top 4. They've actually played no one from the top 8 this year. So to me, watching them, they look like the best team at the moment because they're winning from a point of view of the team. They're just very spirited and they go hard. Their defences, I think they're 11 points at the moment, or 9 points.
Who do you think the teams are that could beat them at the moment? So Melbourne Storm?
At the moment, yes, that's
Melbourne
the only
Storm.
one.
That's the only one.
Brisbane?
Not at the moment, not in form.
So you just think
Brisbane's still up and down a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, I've no doubt they're going to be there at the end of the year, but they're still trying to find their mojo. Melbourne at the moment are flying. They're so far in front of any other team at the moment. And look, if they're fully fit at the end of the year, especially with their spine, they just win.
And for South as well, they've been hit by so many injuries. They've got Cody Walker in the heart.
Back?
He's back. He's coming back from the hamstring. So
Latrell 5'8".
Yep.
Campbell
Graham's back.
Kepi's suspended.
Did he? I think he got
what
a
happened last night?
downgrade.
He went for a downgrade.
Yeah, and he was successful.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. Yeah, this is going to be a great game.
Yeah.
Because both teams, Wayne Bennett coached teams, high completion rates, and that's what the Bulldogs, it's just going to be a bash-up. So good.
I thought the Roosters did a good job, and I'm sure they'll look at when Souths were attacking down their left-hand side, they never got any love. Remember they had the ball for about the first 20 minutes, basically. They had a lot of ball on their try line, and they just couldn't get Latrell over, and I think Latrell ended up bobbling one over the line.
Teddy knocked it out of his hands.
Teddy knocked it out of his hands. So it'll be interesting, you know, if Canterbury get anything out of that because that, you know, they're lethal.
It's just exciting. And also, too, Wayne, he gets his teams up for these big games. This is the game that I'm looking forward to most. We'll be out there on Friday afternoon.
It's good weather.
Good weather. And, yeah, there'll be plenty of fans out there as well coming across from the show. So
Will you go to the show?
No, I'll be at the game. I'll be doing the game.
Not before.
Are you doing the game?
Yeah.
Are you doing the game? Yeah, there you go. We'll all be. Maybe we might get someone to duck out and get some show bags for us.
Chip on a stick.
Maybe get Gal. He loves
Pluto
a shout.
pups.
Have you ever had a chip on a stick?
No.
Yuck.
Gross.
All right, let's have a look at Sportsbet having a crack because we'd love it when people just go out and have a crack each week. So we thought we'd pay tribute. What about this one? Metcalf try saver on Moses Leo.
He's a good player, Metcalf. Glad he's getting games back to back. He had the knee, then he had the chronic hamstring. But he's a really good player.
There's a gun coming through, Lou Metcalf. Made all the New South Wales turns. I remember I coached him in one of the juniors. He scored 3 tries in I think it was the under-18s Origin. Fast. He's very fast.
And then what about this one? This Dragons try, having a bit of a crack here.
I really enjoyed watching them the other day, the Dragons.
Against the feed, there it is.
And called it up. Oh, come on, mate, let it go. You talk about Clem, I enjoyed watching Clem the other day.
Yeah, he went well, didn't he?
Absolutely. I think he's been a bit revitalised. So.
They're a big team, the Dragons. St George Illawarra. Anyway.
Looking a lot calmer than he was on Good Friday about 11 years ago. So there you go. No finger pointing.
No finger.
All right, stick around. Plenty more coming out. Let's check in, though, right now with Joel Kane at Sportsbet.
Nathan Cleary needs just 4 points to break the all-time point score record for Penrith. Now, he's on the page here with some motivated players. NRL Weekly Hub, check it out. Any 4 of these 8 to score, there is your offer this week. But the best tip, of course, take a sec before you bet and please set a deposit limit.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.
Well, big weekend of footy coming up, and we cannot wait to bring it all to you right here on the screens of Nine's Wide World of Sport. So let's have a look at Thursday night footy. Seagulls v Dragons at 4 Pines. Who are we thinking this one that will take?
Well, Fortress Manly hasn't been Fortress Brookie. Well, the last time they played, they're Melbourne pumped. I think Manly can get home. It's going to be a cracking game. I think their right side, DCE, Olakwatu, Garrick, Saab.
I think Lehigh Hopewadi needs to find a way to get into the team at the moment. I haven't really seen him stamp himself. They've lost 2 games in a row too. And I think what you'll find is there'll be a reaction. It's very hard to win more than 2 and then lose more than 2 because there's always a reaction. It's just naturally just get fired up. Back at home, I just feel like they might be just a little bit too good
they
for
get
the
Dragons, then Penrith, then bye. So they want to win these 2 going into the bye.
Important 2 weeks ahead.
Yep.
Then we've also got Bulldogs and South Accor Stadium. All the coverage from 3 p.m. on Good Friday. Looking forward to that one. We've already spoken about that. So let's talk about the evening game on Friday night. Dolphins v Storm at Suncorp Stadium.
I've tipped the Dolphins.
No. Really?
Yes.
I tipped them last week. I thought they were morals last week. If Jerome Hughes wasn't playing, I'd tip the Dolphins for sure.
I was just looking through the teams and I thought they need a lot right to happen. I think Cody Nikorima needs to have a really big game. I haven't seen him sort of stamp himself over this year, but I feel like they've got enough speed. Their forward pack, I like their forward pack at the moment. I don't know, I just like them. I like their bench. You've got Josh Kerr coming off the bench. You've got Nichols, a front rower.
Do you like him or love him?
I love him at the moment.
He loves footy. You more.
And I love watching people in space.
Yeah, that one.
No one got near him. It's like a video game. It's not fair how fast he is. What is this ball? That was beat
that was a good offload by Josh Kerr there. He had a great game.
Lemuelu's playing, and then you also got Fini Fuiaki. So a lot needs to go right. I just feel like, once again, Melbourne, I think they've lost one game. They got beat by St George when they travelled up to Wollongong. And maybe,
maybe this could be
it's hard to win, sort of 4 and 5 in a row.
Next week, right here, you could be the genius and we could all be fools. So
it's not real hard.
We'll find out. All right, and then Sunday afternoon footy. The Knights in action again. McDonald Jones Stadium up against the Cronulla Sharks. You seem a bit nervous.
Nervous? It's understating.
Yeah.
Terrible.
What worries you most about coming up against Cronulla?
Well, there's another combination in the halves. So that's 9 combinations. 9 combinations since the start of last year. Tyson Gamble hasn't played this year. He's had a back operation. He's going straight into the number 7, which is a worry. They were really poor last week. Some awful errors. And Adam Dewey could hardly kick a goal, and he could have got rolled by 30-odd. And they scored in the 80th minute. It's off a kick.
And Cronulla are a good team. They're a consistent team. Yeah. They're a stable, steady team. So they want a big turnaround the Knights.
Big weekend of footy coming your way, and plenty more still to come right here. We're going to be hearing one more spa story from Freddy before we wrap it all up.
No, we won't go.
All right, before we go, it is a big week for...
the Tigers.
Big week for the Tigers.
Big week for the Tigers up against Para. Whew.
Big week for the Easter Bunny.
The Easter Bunny, there you go.
He's got a big weekend.
Yep.
Big job.
Big job ahead.
Will he be at your house Sunday?
Yep.
What's your favourite? What's your favourite?
I don't really eat chocolate.
No?
No.
I love dark chocolate.
You know what I like?
Demolish.
Those Turkish delights. When you get some petrol.
No.
Serious?
Andrew, Turkish delights. No.
And that's not jail talk.
All right, we've run out of time. We're going to have to hear your spa story next week,
no more
Freddie.
spa
There you go.
stories.
Thanks for joining us here on Freddy in the 8th. Enjoy the footy. We'll catch you next week.